Okay.
All right. Tell us about your teaching experience, where and when you've taught in America, and then your teaching experience overseas.
I taught for 5 years in Escondido, California, and I taught, then I went overseas and I taught 2 years in Mexico, 2 years in France, about 3 years in Korea, 2 years in Vietnam, 2 years in Japan, and I've been here in Thailand for 3 years now.
Okay, and all of those were social studies courses?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And once you finally got into the international teaching and started to be going to the different schools, how would you say you had to, assuming you did, how would you say you had to maybe alter your curriculum, alter your instructions? What type of things did you have to add or enhance to your social studies teaching since you were now at an international school?
I had to recognize that there were teachers from different places like Australia and England and such, and they had a little bit of a different curriculum, and also that the students, my perception of, I think I came to a better understanding of how culture and class and such can affect students' perceptions of things in social studies.
Okay, and you, again, you're talking about the students. Just describe a little bit the different student body populations, or maybe the different types of students you've had in your classrooms over the years, and whether that has had any effect on your teaching.
Yeah, well, most of the schools that I've taught at, other than here in Bangkok and in Korea, had diverse populations, so they had some really strong English speakers, and I think the also there was not exactly a common understanding of all the concepts that we would cover in a social studies course, whereas in Korea and here we have populations are they're more local. They're Korean in Korea, obviously, and Thai here, and in this place it seems as though we're perhaps leading the students more in a direction than the other place, whereas.
Okay. And so let's just say that there's some social studies teachers in America that have taught for a few years and are now entertaining the possibilities of maybe teaching overseas. What advice would you give them at this point?
I would tell them absolutely go for it, and just be ready to have a really nice experience. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but open-minded. Recognize that if you are shocked by a culture, it's because you maybe hadn't prepared for something, and you should recognize you're coming into a different part of the world, and it's exciting and fun, and can be frustrating at times, but from the standpoint of a teacher and curriculum for social studies, you will find that your experience will be broadened by the use of materials from different parts of the world, and as I mentioned, Australian and English curriculum in addition to the American, so it's an excellent experience for a teacher.
Great, and so let's say that they take your advice and they're at the international school, they've received a job, they're at the school, they've landed, unpacked everything, they're at the school, there's about 2 weeks before the semester begins or so. What advice would you give them? They're preparing their class or so. What advice would you give them to, I guess, enhance their teaching or maybe help them to understand both the school, their environment, everything?
I would tell them to make certain they come prepared with lessons, despite the fact that they may be taking on a different curriculum and they may not be able to use all of those, and then be prepared to make accommodations in those lessons for some English language learners, and also because it's good to recognize that people in a different country obviously don't see things exactly the same way that we do in America, and we have a lot, as diverse as we think our opinions are in America, we're pretty homogenous in
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.